Hey guys, welcome to another Fitness Friday. I am admittedly a little bit out of it this Friday. My wife is making me go through a sugar detox, and Chad has put me on a new workout regimen, and I feel like hammered crap. And it's a good thing. Like physically, I feel better. I look better. My acne's clearing up. I've lost some inches, lost some bloating, stuff like that. But it sucks. But sometimes I'm dealing with cravings. So today we're going to talk about expectations, and we're going to talk about little things adding up. So, Chad, you have something you always say that I love when it comes to little things adding up. What you're saying?
I remember it. Basically just talking to a client a while back, and I said that little things add up. It's true with weights and it's true with donuts.
Look in our store for that T-shirt coming soon. Little things add up. It's true with weights and it's true with donuts. Okay. So that's awesome, but what does that mean? Like, what are you trying to say with that?
Basically, just that the habit and the consistency is really one of the most important things. Honestly, I've even seen people that follow programs that weren't that good, but they were like really consistent and saw some results. Whereas if somebody is like super intermittent with their exercise, it's not going to be, you're not going to get anywhere. Same thing on the nutrition side. If you I think a lot of people get tricked, they get trapped, because especially like during the holidays and there's like social gatherings and things like that, and they don't know how to plan it, so they end up sabotaging themselves, get frustrated and give up, especially when New Year's right around the corner. So there's a lot of things that go into that, but just keeping the good things consistent and kind of trying to plan things so that the bad things don't accumulate too much.
Okay, so more of that consistency over perfection. Just because I can't do it perfectly doesn't mean I need to do nothing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so like we had somebody come to us the other day and was like, I can't do planks, so I don't want to work out.
Right. Yeah, if it's and we joked about that. It doesn't matter if you can't do anything. It's even if you can't exercise. I've trained people whose blood pressure would rise just sitting in a seat putting their arms over their head because they're out of shape. Everybody starts somewhere. It's fine.
Okay. Well, what about that with nutrition?
Same thing. It's like everybody has their own stuff with nutrition. It's during the holidays we are all going to eat things we don't eat all year, hopefully. And that I kind of prefer that sticks to the holidays as much as possible. But I understand that people are going to go to holiday parties and things like that. And that's fine. You can make that work. Just, like one strategy is if on Tuesday or Wednesday you're going to somebody's house for a gathering, just make that your cheat meal. And then eat clean on the weekend. It's not, don't overcomplicate it. But the main thing is just don't give up just because. Even if you make a complete mistake and it's not part of your plan or whatever, just keep rolling. Don't just stop the bus.
Yeah, and I think that's something we can beat ourselves up about. Especially, I do it all the time. Like you guys know, just told you I'm detoxing from sugar. Just because I slip up and I have something with sugar in it, or I have a sugary drink, or doesn't mean I totally stop everything that I've done.
Yeah.
It just means, okay, well I did that. And I'm not going to feel guilty or shameful or horrible and go into a depression over it. I was okay. Well, tomorrow I'm going to do better.
It also doesn't mean that like when you go to the gym you need to do like 100 extra sit-ups or something.
No,
just follow your normal plan and just keep going. Things happen. It's not that in the scheme of things it won't be that big of a deal as long as you're consistent. Yeah. If you give up that consistency, that's where you're just not going to be happy with where you are. And then this is the thing: like people will kind of jack with their consistency. But then they'll sit down and say, oh, well, I've been doing this for 6 months. And if you look at how many times they've actually exercised in that 6 months, I had a guy one time a few years ago who we did his initial assessments and, I gave him all the nutrition stuff. And then we kind of did a reval, and he was really frustrated with his progress. It turned out he had only worked out 8 times.
Wow.
He felt like he had done a lot of stuff. And I think it was about a month's period. Might have been a little over a month. So, there was like an expectation of like 12 to 16 workouts in there. He'd only done 8.
Yeah.
So it just...
Yeah, I think mental expectations with that is different because when you look at professional athletes, when you look at fitness models, when you look at people that we kind of idolize in the fitness industry, Hollywood stars, stuff like that, you have to realize that they have worked out every day for like 300 days straight.
Sometimes,
like to get to that ultimate physique where they did the one photo shoot to look that way, and it's just not feasible for the normal person.
Another thing about kind of that whole subject is some of those people, when you see those before and after pictures, and I'm not taking away from anybody's progress, but some of those people were in good shape before they got out of shape.
Yeah.
And that makes it much easier. Whereas if you're starting from like you've been out of shape for 10 or 15 years, you can still get to that after photo place. It's just going to take you a little bit longer.
And one of my bodybuilding heroes used to say that it's if you're 100% committed to your program, mentally, physically, you put in the intensity, you put in the time, you put in the work, that's going to mean more than having the perfect program.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're giving it all you can, and you believe in it 100%.
Yeah.
And therefore, you're going to see better results. Even if you had the perfect program, 100% DNA tested just for you.
Right.
But if you didn't do it, it doesn't matter, right?
Absolutely.
So, so in the holidays, we often have a lot of people say, well, I'm just going to wait till after Christmas, or wait till after Thanksgiving, or wait till after the new year to start. Tell me, with the whole consistency over perfection and engaging expectations, tell me why that's not a great idea.
You're just going to make it harder for yourself. I mean, it's even if you have even if you're really busy during the holidays and you have to scale back to like a lower volume thing where you're maybe only going to the gym 2 or 3 days a week, you're going to be in a much better place than if you just stop.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a vehicle that you don't have to drive and you let it sit for too long, it will on its own, it'll get to a point where it just won't start. Mm-hmm. You have to start it once in a while to keep it going. So it's you don't want to, if you can avoid it, you don't want to be starting from like kind of a zero place.
Yeah. Well, and I know people that work out for 15 minutes at home every morning.
Yeah.
And they do the things with their nutrition and they live their lives and they're relatively in good shape.
Sure.
It's just about that they've been doing that 15-minute workout every morning for the past 5-10 years with that consistency. And so now it keeps them where they want to be.
Yeah, and obviously Sam's not saying someone's going to build the ultimate physique for that.
No.
But as far as like just being healthy and keeping it going and making it easier when they can dedicate the time to building that physique, they're going to be in a much, much better place than if they just try to if they just start and stop. It's not healthy.
And being said, like, just because COVID is right now and maybe your gym is closed, or maybe you don't want to work out with a mask on, or maybe the holidays have kept you from really being where you want to be as far as having time to go to the gym, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do anything.
Absolutely.
Like 20 push-ups and 20 sit-ups at home every day is at least going to give you enough blood circulation and activity to make it not as bad when you get back in the gym.
And I think a lot about survival qualities and like what signal you give the body. If you're giving the body the signal that you need to be in shape, it's gonna help a lot as far as like keeping range of motion, keeping bone density, keeping muscle mass. Range of motion is one of the things that'll go first. So if you were like working a lot during the holidays or something, and you're sitting a lot, and you're not, doing some like some lower body stuff where your body's going through a certain range of motion. I've even seen professional athletes who, I would finish with them at the end of the off season. They would be in fantastic shape, and then they would go do their season, and then they would have, at the end of their season, they would have about a month before they came to see me again, and it was unbelievable how out of shape they would get in that month. I mean, like, you wouldn't even believe that some of them were pro athletes.
I mean, eating pizza and
I don't know what they did, but they went from being like these unbelievable machines who could do things most people can't do to barely being able to walk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird. So, yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of our talk about all or nothing mentality, that little things add up mentality. Little things always add up, whether it's donuts or it's lifting weights.
Yeah.
Okay, little things add up, and little things make those little habits is what makes the eventual goal, right? Like if you don't do the little habits consistently, you're never going to hit the eventual goal.
And kind of, have you ever seen the Stephen Covey thing with the rocks in the jar? Okay, so it's some of you have seen this, and I don't want people to get confused. If you have like a big jar, and there's this Stephen Covey exercise where you have like a bunch of big rocks and a bunch of little rocks and a bunch of sand, and they kind of represent life things. And he talks about how the only way to get it all in the jar is to do the big things first. When we're talking about little things, we're not talking about minutia. We're basically just saying, like the sand in that example, we're basically just explaining that those little habits are really important, and they accumulate into those big things, essentially. So
We've got some biting flies.
yeah. So if anyone's confused about that, send us a message. But it's we're not talking about minutia. We're talking about things that accumulate into big things. So
Yeah, definitely. So if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, let us know. Chad's blog on this subject is on our website, triplethreattransformation.com. Just hit the blog button. You can read everything he has to say, which is a lot. It is probably over my head most of the time. So if you think you're smarter than me, which you probably are, go read his blog. Because he's got some wonderful stuff to say. You can always leave us comments, questions, anything. If you ever want to know something on Fitness Friday, let us know. We'll cover it in grand detail and write a blog about it, and then sit here and BS about it for 10 minutes. So love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful week and great holidays. We'll talk to you later.